out there. I'm your goddess Nesca. Here at Chocoma. We're reacting to...
Apparently we know why Charlie got sued and it got dropped. So...
Phoenix Wright just lost a client, as I will no longer be requiring his services. The potential lawsuit that I was wrapped up in is no longer being pursued. It is amicably being banished to the Shadow Realm, so it's done and dusted. I even talked to Brad Arnold on the phone a couple of times, who is one of the people listed in the demands letter that was teetering on lawsuit. And he was very friendly and apologetic about the whole thing, and he was kind of filling me in on things with this system that he did.
Okay, so what here happened is what I want to know.
He reacted to a weather thing, and apparently those guys like copyright their shit to the point you get sued.
Just for using pictures?
Yeah, Storm. He goes into detail why they do it.
Didn't even know what was going on, and he didn't agree with. And I think there's actually a lot to talk about in regards to how this even happened in the first place. But first, let me give you the lay of the land here in case you don't know the lore with what's going on. To bring you up to speed, the previously on Dragon Ball Z, if you have no clue what I'm talking about,
Previously on
yesterday I made a
Dragon
video
Ball Z.
going over how I might be sued, as I had been served some very hefty legal paperwork. It was spearheaded by an IP law firm believing that I was liable for potential copyright infringements and damages in the many tens of thousands of dollars, even into the six figures. In the papers, there was a sense of urgency to comply and respond, and failure to do so would enact even bigger penalties, and that would be when the full lawsuit would come through. What I received was the demands. And when I received this, I was of course pretty skeptical because there are a lot of like fraudulent bad actors out there that are phishing.
Right. The first thing I would have thought is this a joke? Because, okay, so I'm guessing in one of his videos he used some footage from the...
And also, some people like to do that, and then like, oh, well, you gotta sue me. Like they'll do that to Doc's VTubers. Like they'll go after like a video, claim it's theirs, do a DMCA takedown. YouTube doesn't check it, so the only way to get back, you have to legally sue them. They've done that shit. People have done that.
Sheesh. Too anal nowadays. Yeah. So...
Who knows, this could have been fucking pages from the Death Note for all I knew. It was representing two YouTubers, Brad Arnold and Reed Timmer. And I didn't immediately recognize...
Brad Arnold's the Ray y'all, the weather guy we watch.
Uh-huh.
That was one of them they were representing.
So... Okay, like, I hope Charlie shows what he used that got...
He explains
he can't
it.
use it, though.
He
who
explains
that was.
Uh-huh.
And I don't do, like, React content or anything, so I was pretty confused. I thought this may have just been, potential phony baloney, suing local Florida man because he pooped when he meant to fart, I thought this could be made an error, especially because the language in the paperwork was very fishy, saying, like, I used it multiple times, but then it just listed the same YouTube video twice as if they were separate instances. It was a live stream I did during Hurricane Milton. I live in Tampa, so Hurricane Milton came through with the fucking meat. And I was streaming during it, and of course I was checking in on Milton to see what the fuck was...
Okay, so all he did was went to his storm chasing channel to look to see what was going on to make sure that he would be okay, because it was like in his area.
Yeah, apparently he did it live.
What's going on out there with this hurricane that was in my own backyard here slapping us around. And some of the footage that I showed was... One was from Ryan Hall, y'all, who had footage from Brad Arnold in it, and the other was a bit of Reed Timmer. They were both storm chasing Hurricane Milton at the time, and in total, the footage that was used across both of their work was less than 2 minutes. And it was very, very briefly shown just to stay knowledgeable on what was happening, both for my own safety and just, of course, to show the audience, this is the hurricane that's here. It was not copying it or stealing it or trying to, like, make money off it or anything like that. I reached out to both of them privately just to check, hey, are these real right here? Are we dealing with big naturals, or is this all, like fake? What's going on? I just wanted to verify the authenticity, but 2 days went by and I didn't hear back, and since the paperwork did express a very real sense of urgency, I made the assumption that, okay, this must have been something they signed off on, so I got my legal team on it, and then I made that video yesterday bringing everyone up to speed on what's happening. And I also do think it was just an important topic to talk about in general, because it is concerning that if you do show, like, less than like a handful of seconds worth of, like, a content during a natural disaster, you could somehow be liable for many thousands.
Yeah, that is kind of really scummy, especially because like it's information that's supposed to be given out to everyone.
Well, the thing is, Storm Chasers, I think he explains it. There's a lot of Storm Chasers, that's how they make their living, is like through their video they take. And
right.
I think he goes into it. What's happened in the past is news companies will take their footage and just put it up there and won't give them any credit.
Oh, so like the big news people?
Yeah, like, or just your local stations or whatever.
Oh,
so they what's all the time they've gotten representative teams to represent them. And anytime anything pops up in their info, they automatically go sue Happy because they assume it's a news media you taking their footage. So note to self: don't react to Storm Chasers.
Don't react to Storm Chasers.
That is something that most people cannot afford to like take that kind of hit, especially when there was no wrongdoing, no malicious copying or stealing of someone else's work, just textbook fair use, staying knowledgeable on a natural disaster and using a couple of brief snippets of footage to stay up to date on what's going on. And getting served paperwork.
So it's not like they personally went after Charlie. It was the fact that
it's whatever team they hire that keeps an eye on their stuff did it, and he goes
like that with like the very serious nature, the very serious amount of money on the line. I imagine is very scary to a lot of people that would receive it. I don't know how many people got this big blast here. That I don't know. It feels like it was a shotgun approach, and boy, howdy, did they load that birdshot in. And both Reed Timmer and Brad Arnold were quick to respond, and also quick.
I'm guessing he's probably going to read this.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I wanted to address the rumors going around. To be clear, I am not pressing lawsuits against Charlie. One of the greatest things about chasing is how it has allowed me to help people from disaster recovery, to search for researchers, people doing dangerous situations. That's what Charlie used my stream for during Hurricane Milton. I'm glad it was a resource for him, and I hope it's is for many of you. I do have a legal team who monitors for people streaming, stealing my content. The same one reads, and like him, I am surprised by this whole situation. Okay, so it shouldn't have been. I guess maybe it might have been because Charlie's so big, they mistook it.
Yeah. I'm actually pretty close to a Storm Chaser from Oklahoma. I thought he was my uncle when I was young.
Interesting.
To like retract this whole thing, both saying the same thing. They didn't even know this was happening. So I'm just going to clue you in on everything here. The company, Viral DRM, is a company that has actually reached out to Matt before. And from what I can tell, they are now getting into the space of trying to represent creators as a digital rights manager to enforce their copyright, to smack down, bad actors that might be using it for their own personal gains. That way you can come in and take the pie back.
Yeah, I do. I recall back in the day, I had seen like people who would steal videos from like news stuff and repost it for their own stuff. So I think I understand what they're talking about here.
And that's kind of the business model. The firm was not Viral DRM. I believe the firm was contracted by Viral DRM. They're an IP law firm. They're a very real firm that does IP law. And it's very clear that none of this was ever walked by Reed Timmer or Brad Arnold. They didn't know. Both of them have said the same thing. They did not know I was named in this. And Brad Arnold went a step further, saying he doesn't know when they even send this out to others that are using it. That has now come to his attention now. That they are not even brought up to speed with who their digital rights manager is even going after and what for. Now, based on...
Okay, so be wary of using any kind of videos from Storm Chaser stuff.
Now let's see why. Well, Kirsten had something similar like this happen. She covered a news story, but she used like a news station. Not only did they copyright struck her, not claim, but struck her, took the stream down, and demanded if she wanted her stream back up and the strike removed, she had to pay them like $10,000. Yeah.
Wow. What did she end up doing?
I don't remember. The stream never went back up. She couldn't get the video back. So.
Right.
I think the strike eventually fell off because it was a while ago.
Ugh.
The conversations
Yeah, you
I've
gotta be
had,
careful
and
some of
from
the
what
stuff
I've
you-
gathered here, I
That's why I
believe
like-
the process
That's why when we react, I try to look at what other people are reacting to, and if it doesn't get taken down, I'm like, okay, that's safe. Cat wants a box.
is Viral DRM has this content that they have the rights to protect.
Not
They
paying
log it
attention
into
to
their systems,
Yeah,
and then
I just
their
delete the
system
video.
will start to
Well, they
flag
delete
instances
it
of
for
that
her.
content
Yeah.
appearing in other works that maybe
strike she was
didn't
worried
get a
about.
license deal or anything go through. So it will now see that that is flagged internally as a potential problem. Then it feels like they go full Yosemite Sam here, firing from the hip, shoot first, ask questions later,
Smart trucker
making the
move.
assumption that it must be a bad actor doing something, nefarious with this content to try and avoid paying for it, and thus action must be taken. And according to what Reed Timmer and Brad Arnold are saying, they don't even consult them first or anything. They just take matters into their own hands and do it without ever even bringing them up to speed on what's going on or why in regards to that content. Without ever even checking with their clients here, in this case Reed Timmer and Brad Arnold, do you want to pursue this?
Yeah.
They're just doing it without even
Yeah, Yosemite Sam approach.
Oh, but yeah, oof. I mean, that's why sometimes I should be wary of some of the reacts you guys request from me. I mean, I don't mind so much if I'm doing like a big request thing, like this coming up week, where if I can't monetize the video, I don't mind that, but I just hope it doesn't get me in trouble. That's the one thing I do worry about.
insulting them. And it's something that Brad Arnold mentioned is pretty disturbing to him that needs to change. So he's already trying to get a handle on that so this doesn't happen to other creators or other people going forward, because it is an issue. Yes, it sucks that I got served this paperwork, but imagine all the other people that might have this exact same legal documents, stack of legal documents sitting on their desk right now panicking that it hasn't been retracted because Brad Arnold and Reed Timmer don't even know they got it, because Viral DRM has already just went through all of this.
But it's the news about the weather. They are both in the public areas.
I think it's the recording of it, from their angle. I think that's what it is.
They just, I guess what it was is they looked on maybe how big Charlie's account was and just assumed that since they were using their content, their I guess clients' content, I should say, they assumed that maybe he was trying to just basically repost all of their information and junk that they are worked on, kind of thing.
Yeah, it I think, like I said, they overreacted because they didn't know who Charlie was.
Right.
They're lawyers.
Right.
All they see is, someone used our content. It popped up in our system. Now we gotta sue them.
Without talking to them
I
first.
forgot,
When
I
it takes
forgot.
2
It's
seconds
a
for
much
Reed Timmer and
trouble
Brad
for
Arnold
video.
to see, in my case, how it was utilized and be like, oh, that's totally fine. What the fuck? What are we doing here in the first place? This is a huge mistake. There's a big misunderstanding. Why are we even this far down the road on it? The reason why they even have someone manage the rights of their content, as I understand it, keep in mind I'm a little new to the whole Storm Chaser ecosystem here and how their content gets exploited and all of that. But the reason why Storm Chasers sign with these agencies and these managers is because apparently there has been a history of organizations media outlets stealing the content for their broadcasts without paying the licensing fee that
Yeah, just like
they
what you said.
charge to license it out. Or they'll do it uncredited, and they'll just take it without ever even contacting the Storm Chaser.
Right.
And Storm Chasers, as I understand it, they pay.
So basically, the unfair use
Yeah.
version of, Again, all this stuff is so slippery slopes. I don't know. I've seen people moo at me for doing reacts. I feel.
Yeah, that's why you gotta be careful on some stuff.
Out of
Yeah.
pocket for these
Into
missions,
videos
really.
is like
So-
gambling. If you're gonna get in trouble and sued or nothing will happen. Yeah, it is a gamble.
That's why if I see other people react to it, I
You feel like it's a safe space.
move.
I said move.
They have these managers manage the rights of it, so that way that doesn't happen. So if a media outlet comes in, takes the content without paying them, well, it now gets flagged internally, so now they can reach out and try and get that money that they are owed for the work. But it is clearly, fucking digivolved into something far different, where now it's extending to the entire internet space, where anyone now that shows even a brief section of the work is on the hook. Which is, I think, very different than how Reed Timmer and Brad Arnold intended for it to be utilized.
I still really like Charlie's Broly figure that's just sticking out on the side right behind us.
Yeah.
That was a really
Especially
cool
with how
figgy.
Brad Arnold talked about it to me on the phone. He does not agree with how it is being utilized like this. It's just very odd. Like, it almost feels like it's designed to be there for, like, a settlement as opposed to going through, like, the entire process. Because it took Brad and Reed 2 seconds to get caught up to speed with what was going on and why.
Okay, so ultimately, though, Brad and Reed found out what was going on. I guess Charlie managed to get in touch with him and stuff, and I guess they got things settled, and the lawsuit's been taken away and junk.
Yeah. Alright, so that was how all that.
That's pretty much how that ended. Okay. So that's good. It was just a complete misunderstanding. Everything got fixed. So yay! Thank you for joining us for this video. Bye-bye! Thank you all for joining me. Please like, subscribe, and comment. It would make me very happy. Kiss, kiss, hug, hug.